Hello, Steve. Welcome to Engaged Citizens of Columbia County. I'm so glad you're here today. Can you
Thank
introduce
you.
yourself a little bit?
I am Steve Toschi. I live in St. Helens. I'm a planning commissioner. I've been married to my wife for more than 30 years, and my career is a trial attorney, and I have a litigation defense practice.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I reached out to you because I read, as many people in our community did, the Chronicle article that was titled, the title was Homelessness, City Reviewing Options for Public Camping Locations. And then the reporter, he really shared a lot of information that you had gathered from him, or that he had gathered from you to share with the community. And just a lot of people had questions like, what does this actually mean? What is going on? And so I was like, you know what? Let's just get on here and talk for a few minutes and give a little bit of clarity. So, just the questions of just asking you, what does this mean? What are you looking to do? The Planning Commission.
Right now, the Planning Commission is helping the City Council um, update its ordinances to comply with a law that goes into effect July 1, 2023, a state law, ORS 195.530, also ORS 195.500 and ORS 195.505, which involves people sleeping within city limits, and in particular, sleeping on public property.
Okay. Okay. And so, what are you looking to do with this? Because when I read the HB 5115 or 1531, whichever one it is,
195.530. That's the
all the
ORS
numbers,
number.
right?
Yeah.
So there's that bill, saying like cities need to plan for these different, events that can happen with individuals who are wanting to sleep or lay or rest or whatever in the city limits. And so you guys are looking to address that, correct? Or what are you guys looking to do?
Basically the simple rule is that people have to have a place to sleep, to
Mhm.
keep warm and dry, or any place. They can sleep on any place on public property. So there was a Ninth Circuit Court of Appeal ruling. There's two cases, the Blake v. Grants Pass case and Martin v. Boise case, where the courts held that if there are no shelters for people, which a lot of people are going to be unsheltered, people need a place to be able to sleep lawfully within the city, or the city is at risk of not being able to enforce its laws regarding time, place, and manner. So we are exploring the law, getting public feedback, and working toward locations and manner and time restrictions where people can sleep on public property. That's what we're
Okay.
working on.
Okay. So you're looking to locations. What are the locations that have maybe been presented, or what are, some of the ideas that have been presented so far?
Well, the first thing that we're doing is we're looking at what are the needs of the community. St. Helens has been very active in preventing homelessness. We have a lot of subsidized housing here, and we don't have a lot of homeless population here, which is fortunate. So we're trying to look at what are the needs, and then once we assess what the needs are, then we're going to try to find locations that are appropriate for people to sleep on public property, so there's compliance. And then the question is, what are the manner and time restrictions? Are the people going to sleep for, are we going to allow people to be there for a day, 2 days, 3 days, a week? Who will we be allowing to stay for longer or shorter? What criteria are we going to use? And these are things that, those are kinds of discussions that are going to occur after we determine the needs.
Okay. So you're in the gathering of the needs, just kind of place of this, process. Is that correct?
Right. So far, the city planner is doing some interviews with agencies that engage with people who are sleeping outside. It turns out most of those people are unsheltered people but there are some people that prefer to live outdoors
Yeah.
without, they have a choice. They just don't want to live near anybody and they don't want a roof over their head.
Yeah.
There are those kind of free spirits in Oregon. And so, so we're in, I have a meeting with the community action team this Friday. And so we're trying to get basically what is the head count? So how much space may we need? And then how long have people been here? People coming in and out. And then once we get a handle on things, which should be finished by the end of this week, then we're going to start an analysis of locations.
Okay. Have you guys ever, I was talking to my 19-year-old son and he was like, I was talking about how, you guys are in the gathering process. We were talking about this situation going on, and he's like, have they ever done a poll, or what are the ways that you guys gather just by going to community action, who is like the tap in the community? Like they have a tap on it because they're dealing with that. Is that how you gather the information about what the needs are, just by meeting with them?
The professionals that are aware of the people, I think, have the best information. If the
Okay.
public wants to provide information, we have our my email address is on the public information for the Planning Commission. They can send me any anecdotal evidence that they want to talk about. I know there's somebody here. Also, I am personally going to go view where people do sleep in the city so that I have a handle on what do the places look like, how big of an area are we talking about, what's going on there. Because frankly, I think these are people that would normally be, quote, left alone, end quote. But we've been asked to devise statutes. So we need to go out and go see people and figure out how they're living. Or
Okay, and
sleeping.
or sleeping. And we're talking about public input, and the ways that, individuals of the public can engage with this gathering process, with the input process, with their, maybe their expertise, their experience. What is the best way for engaged citizens to give that input to the people who are making the decisions?
On this particular issue,
Yeah.
I think that one of the other things we're looking at is so one of the paths that we are on is to adopt a policy pursuant to ORS 195.500. So that's a law that requires all municipalities and counties shall develop a policy that recognizes the social nature of the problem of homeless individuals camping on public property and implementing the policy as developed to ensure the most humane treatment for removal of homeless individuals from camping sites on public property.
Okay.
So I think if the public has experience with homelessness and positive or negative, go ahead and send emails. We're going to be having a hearing next week, just an update hearing, but we may actually have a public hearing in April. We're going to have to think about what we're going to do. So I think public input is something that, number one, can occur at any time. And number two, there will be opportunities to show up, and there's comment periods ahead of time. So that's how people could become engaged and involved. And in addition to talking to people that are engaging the homeless issue, we're also looking at data regarding locations and trying to make sure, and I can tell you a little bit more about that. I kind of would like to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Please do.
So right now there is no data to support that allowing anyone to camp, whether they're homeless or not, within a neighborhood within a certain number of distance where people are living, where they have residences, either renting or owning, and within a certain distance of businesses. There is no data supporting that people camping near where people reside is a positive thing for the people camping or the people living there or the businesses.
Yeah.
And so that's an important consideration. And in fact, the data, as we're exploring it more, is that there are a lot of negative things associated with people who are camping near residences. People are fearful. There are lower property values. And so we're trying to, in selecting places, we're recognizing the social nature of the problem of homeless individuals camping on public property, not only from the perspective of homelessness or people who want to camp, but also the social nature of the problem.
Yeah.
So that when we devise a solution, it's going to be the least harm possible to our citizens.
All parties, right?
Correct, and all parties.
Yeah.
Yes.
The residents, the homeless person, the businesses,
Well,
everyone.
do we have homeless people who live in the city that you could say are residents, right? Because they are here, they're within city limits, they live here. Then you have folks that are just coming into town and coming through town. And so my duty as a planning commissioner is to kind of look out for the citizens of our city, in addition to visitors. But folks that are coming from other areas are visiting here. And right now there's not camping allowed anywhere in St. Helens other than the Sand Island and the docks, and that's for a fee.
Okay. So you were saying the best way for, me and anyone else that wants to give input is to email. And you were saying, who would we email? Would we email you? Would we email the mayor?
You could you could email any public official you want. Everybody's emails are you could email everybody. The planning commission's working on it. We would appreciate any feedback. If people want to get together as a group and sign a petition, that helps, because then everyone's time is precious. And if there's a general consensus about an idea, getting people to say, we endorse this, and then signing something, then that says, okay, a certain number of people cared enough about this issue to put something on a piece of paper and submit it.
Yes, for sure. It's the Democrat way to give to our officials our opinions, and then you talked about going to meetings, and I've talked about this a lot on my group, is just in the past few years is when I have become an engaged citizen of going to city council meetings and going to school board meetings and listening to different insight and input from different people about these issues. And so you and I were talking, it's like the best thing is to get involved. The best thing is so that what is happening, what is coming down the pipes, right? And so I will post your guys' next meeting. Feel free to let me know if anything, important is coming up, and I will post it out. The more, the better of the reach, right? And, so that when it does come time for like an evidentiary hearing or any sort of hearing for this issue, that people are aware of it. It's not sneaking up on anybody. And so I really appreciate that you put out, you shared this with us, with the public. And I really, I respect that and honor it. And I'm excited to engage with that. So thank you so much for your time, Steve. Do you have anything else that you want to, add to all this that I haven't asked?
Yes, I would say this: the more public involvement on any issues and all issues, the better. I think that there are a lot of big issues facing the city of St. Helens and the Columbia County, and I'm sure in Scappoose they've got their issues too. And it's surprising to me sometimes to see where the city council is discussing pretty major things to see there might be 15 YouTube hits.
Yeah,
So that means 15 people watch something, and that's just not a lot of traffic on an
yeah,
important issue. So the more engagement, the better. Ask tough questions. The city St. Helens right now is working on budgetary issues.
okay.
And so I think it's important for people to follow what's going on in their government.
Hmm.
The more engaged people are, the better. So that's just generally going to encourage that.
Definitely. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much, Steve. And I really appreciate it. And I hope to talk to you again soon. And I'll be coming to some of these meetings to learn about it and to be in touch.
And thank you. And thank you for all the engaged citizens, anybody who watches this.
Yes. Oh, thanks, Steve, so much. Have a good one.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye.